Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone. Uh yeah, it is now time to check out what's going on with planet Earth, the United Nations of Earth, the UNE, and overall our empire that we are growing in this galaxy. Um I was getting a lot of there's just so much paperwork. I was getting really confused, to be honest, and behind in paperwork. So let me go and work on paperwork here. So I'll be back in just a moment. Did you imagine Stellaris scenario? Well, imagine imagine taking a bunch of guys who are like really good at Stellaris into Stellaris, very sciencey type, you know. They get into the game, they love it, they love science, they love sci-fi, they love reading up on computers and computer tech and IT and everything like that. And then they're just dropped into a dead by daylight situation where they have to survive. Ah, ah. Well, that's what happens when you don't rest. Da, 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 da. Let's get Stellaris running. Oh, a mod is updating. Which one would that be? So it doesn't matter. Game is running. We need two monitors, not just one. Uh, GG Slinger. GG's always the Hunter TTV says good games. I was the Atom. Yep, I agree. And Curlwave, GG Slinger, you gave us a fun match for real. No hard feelings. I get tilted with those Slinger hitboxes too. Just glad we didn't go against a lame friendly killer for the 500th time. I know. I want to give you guys like a run for your money. Imagine having paid. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're paying for the experience. I want to give you the experience. I want to make you guys run for your lives and die if you have. If that's what you're into. Well, here it's going. Alright, so Stellaris sounds promising. The Dead by Daylight games were just, oh my god, you know. Not Zax29, welcome back. Yes, you hear Stellaris. I am back to the position of saving our Earth. The United Nations of Earth, we have all moved on from just the old ways. The old ways, the ancient ways, you know, even 1800s ancient, right? We've moved on. And we're holding on to those types of ideologies and concepts kind of as like a museum artifact. And so we're moving forward with prosperity and as basically a brand new civilization in interstellar space travel, so on and so forth. It's the year 2200. It's January 3rd, and we have a lot of decisions to be made. I have a lot of decisions to make while in office, and I'll probably be in office for the rest of the duration of the many years ahead. At this current time, I'm working under President Taggart, and also with, well, I wouldn't say under, I'm working with President Taggart, and I'm also working with the the minister, state, you know what I mean? So we've got council members, you know, people all around the clock working with us to really make things happen in the world. So at this time, I'm just getting the game up and running, working on this. I don't know why, but something. Oh, okay, that's why. Game crashed. Without the game, you see, we can't get our data synchronized and then be able to work on life as we know it. Um, January 31st, 2026, and January 3rd, 2200. We are in a parallel scenario where we have all these things going on. We're being currently affected by so much in the future. Look at what was ahead. Did you see that? That's insanity. So here we are today, and whew, got work to do. Increase risk, Alt Tab at loading screens. moment here, folks. Stay tuned, everyone. Stay on task. Oh, and I'm just going to be transparent with you. Being the supreme executive authority, I too am human. I also have a life to live. So here today on January 3rd of 2200, I would like to address everyone. Citizens of Earth. Tonight I speak to you not as a distant figure behind a podium, but as the steward of a world that has endured hardship, rediscovered its strength, and taken its first steps into a new century with clarity and resolve. We stand together at a moment of profound transition. The challenges we faced in recent months were not small ones. Shortages that strained households, uncertainty that tested our unity, and a scientific silence that left us without the instruments that once guided our understanding of the cosmos. Yet here we are, not diminished by these trials, but transformed by them. In the past days, we have witnessed the reawakening of Earth's industrial heart. The approval and mobilization of new basic factories mark more than an economic correction. They represent a promise kept that no citizen should live under the weight of scarcity when our world possesses the talent, the will, and the resources to provide for all. These facilities now entering their activation phase will restore balance to our consumer goods supply and strengthen the foundation upon which our society stands. Their construction is not merely a technical achievement. It is a declaration that Earth will not be defined by crisis, but by our capacity to rise above it. At the same time, our scientific voice has returned. The radio telescope array, silent for too long, now listens once more to the deep harmonies of the universe. Our research labs, once dimmed, now glow with renewed purpose. The reactivation is more than a restoration of infrastructure. It is the rekindling of humanity's oldest instinct to understand, to explore, to reach beyond the horizon. Already our scientists report new data, new insights, and new mysteries. Some of these findings are subtle, almost whisper-like, but they remind us that the universe is alive, with signals waiting to be heard. And now once again we are listening. These changes have not gone unnoticed by the people of Earth. In the last 24 hours, our stability has risen to levels not seen since the earliest days of unification. This is not the result of any single directive or decree. It is the product of a shared belief. A belief that progress is possible, that leadership is accountable, and that the future is worth building together. When citizens see factories rising, research stations humming, and public services stabilizing, they do not merely observe progress. They feel it. They carry it with them into their homes, their workplaces, their communities. And from that feeling grows confidence. And from confidence grows unity. But let us be clear. This moment is not an ending. It is a beginning. The work ahead remains vast. Our world is healing, but it is not yet whole. Our scientific instruments are active, but they are only the first of many. Our industries are awakening, but they must be nurtured, expanded, and guided with wisdom. And as we move forward, we must do so with the humility to recognize that every decision we make today will shape the lives of generations who will inherit not just this planet, but the stars beyond it. In the coming weeks, you will see continued construction, renewed research, and strengthened governance. You will see councils working with greater transparency, directorates coordinating with greater precision, and communities participating with greater hope. You will see a world that is no longer reacting to crisis, but preparing for opportunity. A world that is no longer looking inward in fear, but outward in curiosity. A world that is no longer waiting for change, but creating it. Citizens of Earth, the dawn of the interstellar century is not a distant dream. It is here, it is now, and it belongs to all of us. The steps we have taken in these early days, stabilizing our economy, restoring our scientific capabilities, and reaffirming our unity, are the first stones in a path that will lead us far beyond the boundaries of our world. We will walk that path together, not as fractured nations, but as one people, one civilization, one Earth. Tonight, I ask you to look toward the future not with fear, but with the quiet confidence of a species that has endured, adapted, and risen time again. We have faced the unknown before, and we will face it again. Not as strangers to one another, but as partners in the greatest journey humanity has ever undertaken. This is our moment. This is our century. And this is the beginning of a new chapter in the story of Earth. Thank you, citizens of our world. Stand tall. The future is listening. It's good. Still rolling. Okay, everybody. You're not supposed to actually see me in power, but I am the guy behind the scenes and also This is transparency for civilization. I'm doing this for the sake of civilization, that we can all, you know. Sorry, I gotta check my phone first. Got so many things to do. So many things. Yo! Can't see Stellaris. No, yeah, no worries. The camera was there for the reason that I had a speech to give, and now there's no speech to give. Don't worry. If you're brand new here, like Cadis OW, shout out to Cadis. He's a brand new follower here. He's gonna make us proud by being one of the greatest citizens the UNA has ever seen. So yeah, working closely with Minister of State Jamie Packett, as well as President Taggart and the rest of the wonderful council members that we have on board. We have here Ms. Valentina Rodriguez, Minister of Defense Fang Yang, and so many others. We're just getting started in the universe here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Okay. Advisors tell me that I have to get on these executive orders ASAP. So let's take a look here. Executive order: enhanced signal integrity and security protocols for radio telescope array, recently reactivated on the 3rd. That was today. The mandate is designed to prevent unauthorized access, data corruption, or external interference during early era scientific operations. I don't see a problem with this. Let's take a look at CN2-200X05, just to make sure that we have enough information about what it is that we're doing here. I'm about to approve of this order. Unverified signal fragment detected post-reactivation. Internal Security Directorate, Signal Integrity Division, Distribution Supreme Executive Authority, that's me. ISD Technical Branch, Research Directorate, Redacted Access. Executive Summary. So let me let you all see what's going on here, so that you aren't left behind, confused, or whatever it is. This takes forever sometimes to get these things together. Why do they do this? They do this to all the files. I don't understand it. Makes everything look all off. Let's take a look at this together. Alright, now let's read this together. Okay, everyone? Subject: unverified signal fragment detected post reactivation. Origin: internal security directive. Alright, we read that part. Executive summary: at 2200, January 3rd, 4:12 UTC, approximately 3 hours after the reactivation of the radio telescope array and basic research lab clusters, the ISD detected a faint, non-local signal fragment embedded within the telescope's passive sky scan buffer. The fragment does not match any known terrestrial, orbital, or deep space transmission patterns. It is not consistent with background cosmic noise, solar interference, or atmospheric reflection. Signal is currently classified as unverified anomalous. Okay. Detection details: timestamp January 3rd, 2200, 4:12:33 UTC. Duration 0.47 seconds. Frequency band 1420.09 megahertz. Hydrogen line adjacent. Signal strength: extremely low amplitude, below standard detection threshold. Origin vector indeterminate. Triangulation inconclusive. Data integrity fragmented. Partial checksum failure. The fragment was discovered during routine post-reactivation diagnostics when the system flagged an unexpected harmonic deviation. Okay. Preliminary analysis. The ISD technical branch has identified the following characteristics. The signal contains structured intervals suggesting non-random origin. Harmonic spacing does not match known natural astrophysical sources. No correlation with terrestrial transmitters, satellites, or classified assets. The fragment's waveform shows micro-modulations inconsistent with noise artifacts. The frequency offset places it just outside the protected hydrogen line, a band often used for deep space listening. The research directorate has been granted limited access to the raw waveform for independent analysis. Potential explanations unconfirmed. The ISD lists the following as working hypotheses, none of which are confirmed. Calibration artifact, possible but unlikely due to structured modulation. Atmospheric, reflection of unknown origin, no meteorological events match the timestamp. 3. Residual data from pre-reactivation buffer, no matching signatures found in archived logs. 4. Extraterrestrial natural phenomenon, cannot be ruled out, requires further analysis. And 5. Artificial non-terrestrial origin, classified as low probability but non-zero pending deeper review. Okay. Security assessment, risk level low. Reasoning, no evidence of intrusion into telescope systems. No signs of data corruption beyond the fragment. No repeated transmissions detected. No impact on research output or infrastructure stability. As we can see here, stability is still at 70%. We have a 75% pop approval rating as well. And at current, we have construction underway. It says here, however, due to the timing immediately post-reactivation and the frequency band, ISD recommends continued monitoring. Required actions: 1. Maintain 24-hour signal monitoring loop on the hydrogen adjacent band, so we have people on that. 2. Route all anomalous detections to ISD before research director review. 3. Implement isolation buffer for all telescope data pending EO 2200 003 approval. 4. Prepare level 1 diagnostic sweep. Now the reason why I'm reading this is so that we can get back to 003, and let's check that out here. Prompting this preemptive security directive was the CN 2200X05 check reference number. Background following the reactivation. So that's following the reactivation of the radio telescope array and basic research lab clusters. Since we had an extended time period for the disabling of those structures, that was from the 1st of January through the 2nd and until very early today. No breaches confirmed. So basically, something weird happened. We're getting it checked out, and we want extra security surrounding that. We also want to make sure that civilian access remains restricted. We want restricted access so that civilians aren't able to penetrate our networks in our science laboratories, in our research labs, and especially our telescope array. We don't want any of that getting hacked into, and we don't want for there to have to be public release information about that. We don't want that to leak to the press. So again, all these new rules that we're going to be applying via the research labs as well as the telescope array. The positive outcomes to be expected are going to be protects scientific integrity, reduces risk of unauthorized access, ensures clean data for research labs, and strengthens early era security posture. We definitely don't want any scrambled data. We want less of that. Saves us time in terms of decryption. Okay. Potential risks: slight delay in data availability due to isolation buffer, increased workload for ISD technical staff, and possible friction with research directorate over access limitations. Well, we don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to approve of the executive order here. I'm going to send that in right now. Very good. Council members. All right. So this is all confidential. What we're doing for the basic research labs and the radio telescope array. The main thing that we want for everyone to know is that interstellar space travel is possible. More than plausible, it's probable that we're going to be heading in that direction soon, and we want to be able to guarantee for the people, all 4.8 billion people, we want for there to be a guarantee. Does anyone have any questions? Any viewers? Anyone? About what just happened there? Kappa Ping Warrior says, I regret to inform you that Satana got me before I could purge all biologics. well. We come in peace. Stana, are you in there? Hello? We'll check in with the Kappa Ping Warrior when he returns. Now, moving on to the next projects that we have here, I definitely want to address the industrial wasteland situation as well as the sprawling slums. Love how they call it sprawling slums. Again, that's a region covered by vast shanty towns and slums filled with the poor and the outcasts. 120 months to clear that. It's a project that we can't currently work on, but it's something that we're looking forward to. We still have to get everything in place, the company's resources, and so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what we have here. Just stay tuned. So there you can see the industrial wasteland situation as well as the sprawling slums. And once we get rid of that, we'll have extra room for more city districts, hopefully more construction, and therefore we can definitely do away with the deficit of consumer goods, which is what our world is currently experiencing. So all I have to do here is just make sure that we get that request taken care of. So going through the list here, here's what I have available. Got a few SITREP reports. Toxic substrate stability and hazard containment report. Assesses the chemical instability of the abandoned industrial zone. Notes that containment barriers are degrading and require energy-intensive purification cycles that cannot be initiated under current energy shortages. Energy cost projection for remediation cycle. Provides a breakdown of the energy expenditure required to begin cleanup operations. Confirms that Earth's current energy deficit makes activation impossible without diverting power from essential services. That. Currently, you're unable to view the options, the available documents that I have. It isn't really an option yet. Just have to wait. You need a higher clearance level for that. You also have your local population exposure risk assessment, evaluates low-level health risks to nearby districts, recommends continued monitoring but no immediate danger. Structural collapse risk and subsurface mapping update. Reports on unstable foundations and collapsed machinery. Clearing requires heavy equipment powered by hydro energy cells currently unavailable. Operational readiness review for cleanup teams. Cleanup crews are prepared but remain on standby pending energy availability. Notes morale impact due to repeated delays. That I want to check out. Gain access. My clearance is okay. Filed by Directorate of Planetary Infrastructure, Hazard Remediation Division, Distribution, Supreme Executive Authority, Governor's Office, ISD Regal. I love how they simplify these pamphlets. I kind of love it and I kind of don't, because it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of cheap. Kind of. Not 100%. For you guys to view what I'm currently reading, let me modify this. You guys can't read exactly what it is. No, you're not allowed to do that. But hopefully what you can read will catch your interest. And it's a clearance level restricted file, but you guys have access to it since you're working with me. I appreciate that. The UNE, correct? Go ahead and read that for yourselves. I'll start reading it soon. You guys already know that the way our government in general operates is not this way, okay? So make sure you understand that. You get preliminary information from me because I am the assigned supreme executive authority here, or strategic director for the UNE. Feel special. Government, I feel I should speak for the government when I say this, that we are all sorry that you have to wait for like 2, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours sometimes for events to begin. It's just the process. It takes time. It's like my German buddies. Hey. Well. Always gotta love when food is ready, right? Don't you love taking energy drink hiatuses? Let me read this for myself. The Hazard Remediation Division confirms all 3 cleanup teams, Alpha, Delta, and Kilo, have completed their quarterly certification cycles. Personnel are fully briefed on structural collapse risks unique to Blocker B. Protective gear, atmospheric scrubbers, and hazard suits are stocked and inspected. Remote operated demolition drones are pre-calibrated and require high draw energy cells to activate. Medical and emergency response units are on standby at the perimeter staging zone. Morale is stable, but showing early signs of frustration due to repeated postponements. Equipment status. The following equipment is required for safe entry and clearance. Heavy lift exosuits, energy intensive industrial plasma cutters, high draw, subsurface resonance scanners, medium draw, hazard neutralization drones, high draw and atmospheric filtration towers. Continuous energy requirement. All equipment is operational but locked behind energy rationing protocols. The Directorate estimates that Blocker B clearance requires a minimum surplus of plus 25 energy credits to begin Phase 1 operations. They're anticipating plus 25? 120 days, not months, right? 120 days. Base cost. My arithmetic's a little bit. 300 divided by 2.5 plus 25 energy credits. Okay. Operational constraints due to Earth's energy deficit. No heavy machinery can be powered. Hazard drones cannot be deployed. Structural stabilization fields cannot be activated. Subsurface mapping cannot be refreshed. Atmospheric filtration cannot be sustained for the required duration. Attempting clearance without these systems would violate safety regulations and risk personnel causalities. Risk level high if attempted without proper energy support. Risk level low while site remains sealed. Primary hazards include sudden structural collapse, toxic particulate release, unmapped underground voids, legacy industrial chemical pockets, potential ignition of volatile residues. The site remains sealed under ISD approved containment protocols. Recommended actions. The Directorate advises maintain standby status for all cleanup teams. 1. 2. Reassess energy availability after industrial activation stabilizes the grid. 3. Prioritize energy allocation to Blocker C, sprawling slums if humanitarian conditions worsen. And 4. Schedule morale rotation for remediation personnel to prevent readiness fatigue. Okay. Blocker B is considered second priority for clearance once Earth's energy deficit is resolved. Its removal will unlock additional industrial district space and reduce long-term environmental risks. Okay, so that's the end of the situational report. The energy deficit at this current time is stifling for our projects, but don't be alarmed. Heavy machinery does still work. We have a stockpile of energy credits available. We're currently in debt in terms of minerals here. Give it a month and we should be in the green. This is going to take some time. Basic factories at urban expansion, 0.55% complete. We have so many days ahead of us. Actually, I have to be prepared to give my speech. Didn't mean to open that app, that program. So I'll go ahead and review the information again. Very basic information. These information panels. In the meantime, I am looking at my speech. I might just have AI generate my speech or something, because if I write my speech, I might start getting all emotional. Preliminary housing project, preliminary housing projection for industrial workforce. We've already solved that problem. Suggest temporary rationing, short-term consumer goods rationing proposal. Micro unrest indicators in urban district 3. Supply delays. There appears to be an error there. I'm gonna have to clarify, because that doesn't make sense. They probably meant urban districts. Imagine the urban expansion. Alright, that's fine. briefing. Members of the press, citizens watching across Earth, and partners throughout our global community, thank you for joining us today. As we enter the fourth day of the operational year, I want to speak directly to the billions of people who call us one home. The past several days have brought meaningful progress, renewed momentum, and a sense of direction that has been absent for far too long. Today's briefing is an opportunity to share that progress with clarity and confidence. Over the last 48 hours, Earth has undergone a quiet but profound transformation. Activation of new production facilities is already stabilizing our supply chains underground. This week will soon translate into tangible improvements in daily life. These developments are not abstract metrics or distant projections. They are the first signs of a world gaining its balance. The scientific community has also stepped back into the light. Reactivation of the radio telescope array in our research laboratories marks the return of humanity's curiosity to the forefront of our shared mission. For the first time in months, our instruments are listening to the universe again, gathering data and expanding the boundaries of what we know. These early steps may seem small, but they represent the rekindling of a tradition that has always defined us in pursuit of understanding. Our spirit of people with responsibility has risen to a level of technology, improved conditions, renewed trust. Citizens are beginning to feel the effects of government leadership and expecting the vision of satisfaction as well as stories and merely statistic. It is a testament to the resilience of our society and shared belief that progress is possible when we live together. Not only for good today, but for imaginable Okay, well, speech to be given on the 4th of January, tomorrow. Is there anything else? Apparently, following items. Okay, so I already closed that out. Rollover, reoperation. Issue a directive. Okay. System status check. Let's get the directive. From me to all directorates, council, liaison offices, and planetary governance nodes. fast cycle of parallel time. Wish you guys knew how this worked. It's actually pretty fascinating. Just move on. Alright, get ready everyone. You're gonna feel a little bit of a leap. Fast forwarding. Getting onto the fourth. And 3, 2, 1. That is strange. No idea what that event is, but for some reason I don't understand that event. However, we leaped over the fourth. We are now at the fifth. The system now. Classified as a temporal desynchronization event. Welcome back. That's 7 times 5. That's 9 times 8. What's 2 times 5? What's 7 times 6? 5 times 3. 2 times 9. 9 times 9. No, 9 times 9. 8 times 5. 7 times 7. Cool. What movie? 2 o'clock, right? Was a movie? What movie? Hitch? Watched Hitch? Ah. Who planned that one? Trisha. So again, everyone, we've leaped over the 4th and have entered the 5th of January, synchronizing data. It's such a pain, man. I don't understand what that event is. I don't understand that. It's like it's its own notification that I don't know. I don't understand that. You need water? Is it okay if I turn the AC on? Huh?
Yeah, you can turn it on.
Are you tired?
I have.
You have a headache?
Yeah.
Okay. You want medicine? You should drink some water. You're going to have to pee, so just I would just open up a new water because you're drinking like just a sliver. You want more water? There's more water there. No. Just, Mom. The entire part of the community is all dropped, huh?
I don't know.
I'll be right back. Was it okay that I turn the AC on? You guys don't get it, man. You guys don't get it. Nobody gets it. Nobody understands. Kids would not understand at all. Like, you know, when you're a kid and then you have, well, I don't know if your parents were ever drinkers or whatever, but if you had a drinker type of parent, you know, they were just all loosey-goosey, relaxed type of feel, you know. As a kid, I mean, they see a kid and then it's just kind of, there's already, you know, sorry, boundary, barrier. I mean, I think most parents are obviously able to control, or I mean, they don't even need to be under any type of control for that type of boundary. But you know, as soon as you have adults in the same room, there's a lot of tone it down, like, you know what I mean? So I'm not salty about it. I just imagine that people wanted things to be that way more of the time than not. Wow, y'all are quite interesting. Reminds me of that movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's like a little bit more closer to home. That's what you guys are into. So, moving forward, going back to the reconstruction of the temporal integrity. Figured out how to eliminate that pesky, weird blank note. I don't understand that. There's no problem with it. Leap forward to the 5th. Feels natural. Everything seems okay. I think we can safely proceed to the end of the week. and there's going to be a lot of documentation that I'll have to read after that. But let's say that things are handled for now. Council's got things handled. Infinite opportunities, 159 months until time to launch. Yeah. Right, here goes another leap. Let me prepare the system. Actually, recommend. Blah, 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 risk. Industrial activation nears first output threshold. Energy deficit persists. From Earth Global Tribune. So we're just going to catch up on what happened on the 4th. Directorate of Planetary Infrastructure announced that the 2 basic factories approved earlier in the week have completed the initial groundwork. While the facilities are not yet producing consumer goods, early stabilization of supply chains has already begun to ease pressure on urban markets. Energy analysts warn that Earth's energy credit deficit remains the primary bottleneck, preventing further development, including the removal of 3 major planetary blocks. Public sentiment continues to rise modestly with stability holding at some recent. There's a passive radio sweep at 0041 UTC. Atmospheric ionization check 0312. Subsurface acoustic scan Iceland 0755. Orbital debris tracking 1103 UTC. 1 microfragment decayed from LEO. No risk. Nothing's going on. Nothing at all. Minor magnetic drift, South Atlantic. Localized magnetic variation detected, no operational impact. Remember, this is all from the 4th. Unusual cloud formation, Central Pacific. Satellite imagery shows a spiraling cloud pattern inconsistent with wind models. Meteorologists classify it as unusual but natural. Okay, no, I don't need these types of, like, they're calling those anomalies. For those of you wondering something like, when is the game going to be played? When is the simulation going to move forward? When are we going to move forward in time? I understand your concerns. However, there's a lot of bureaucracy in the way, as is typical with life. Like, I oftentimes want for the world to hurry up, move on, move forward. You know, let's get to the future, how cool it looks, all the different options and things like that, you know? All the cool hair, cool gear, things like that. We're not there yet. We have all these things to do. For example, Council Session 04A, Energy Deficit Mitigation Strategies, proposal to divert power from non-essential municipal lighting rejected. Proposal to accelerate solar grid expansion approved for feasibility study. Council requests updated energy projections by 0106. So on and so forth. Public transparency measures, draft version of the Transparency Enhancement Act reviewed, minor amendments proposed. Public sentiment report, optimism index plus 2%, trust in governance plus 1%. This is good news. We're going towards being able to just leap forward, but we can't yet, such as the recommendation by the system. So unrest probability near zero. Actually, have a great request. This is going to be interesting for all of us to know what's going on. Let's go ahead and reel back in. What's going on? Urban crime falls to historic lows as stability rises. Police report minor uptick in opportunistic theft in dense districts. Community patrols expand in sprawling slums district. Coverage of volunteer patrols at Blocker C. New predictive policing algorithms reduce response times. Whoa. Okay, there are options here. Right. NWS. Look. New predictive policing algorithms reduce response times by Lila Moreau, senior correspondent. So I'll just read you the news here. In a development welcomed by municipal leaders across Earth, the Planetary Public Safety Directorate announced today that the latest generation of predictive policing algorithms has successfully reduced average response times in major urban centers. The update, deployed quietly over the past week, integrates real-time drone telemetry, transit hub foot traffic analytics, and historical crime pattern modeling to anticipate where incidents are most likely to occur. According to the Directorate's preliminary data, patrol units in high-density districts have seen a 6 to 9% improvement in arrival times, with some metropolitan zones reporting even sharper gains. Officials emphasize that the system does not replace human judgment. Instead, it provides dispatchers with a dynamic map of emerging risk zones, allowing them to position resources more effectively. Public reaction has been cautiously optimistic. Residents in several cities noted a visible increase in drone presence during the night cycle, though most described the activity as reassuring rather than intrusive. Civil liberties groups have requested a formal review of the algorithm's transparency protocols, but no major objections have been raised. The Directorate plans to release a full technical breakdown later this month, along with anonymized performance data from the first week of deployment. For now, officials say the early results demonstrate that even modest technological improvements can have a meaningful impact on public safety, especially as Earth continues to stabilize under the New Year's reforms. Well, that's good news, but I don't know, where's the crime? Where's crime? I want to read more about the crimes that are going on. What's going on here? Minor uptick in opportunistic theft in dense districts. Localized reporting on small spikes in crowded areas. Earth Global Tribune, Article ID, NWS, crime, blah, blah, blah. Clearance. Okay, so police report minor uptick in opportunistic theft in dense districts by Ren Ito, staff correspondent. Law enforcement agencies across several major metropolitan regions reported a slight rise in opportunistic theft over the past 24 hours, a trend officials attribute to increased foot traffic in high-density commercial zones, while the overall crime rate remains low. Consistent with Earth's current 4% planetary crime rating, authorities note that crowded transit hubs and market corridors continue to present conditions where quick, low-risk offenses are more likely to occur. According to the Planetary Public Safety Directorate, the uptick is modest and falls within expected seasonal patterns. Most incidents involved unattended personal items, distracted pedestrians, or brief moments of congestion where offenders could blend into the flow of movement. Police emphasize that these are not signs of organized criminal activity, but rather isolated acts taking advantage of busy environments. Drone patrols and predictive analytics have already been adjusted to account for the shift. Early data suggests that targeted patrol routes and increased visibility during peak hours have helped deter further incidents. Officials also remind citizens to remain aware of their surroundings, particularly in transit hubs, where foot traffic has surged following recent improvements in public stability. Community response has been measured. Residents acknowledge the increase, but express confidence in the rapid adjustments made by local authorities. It's nothing like the old days, said one commuter in the new Nairobi mega district. You can feel the difference. People are calmer and the police are actually present. The Directorate will release a more detailed breakdown later in the week, but for now, officials stress that the situation is under control and does not indicate any broader shift in crime trends. Alright, well, you know what? Let's read comments here. Professor Plunge 7705, welcome back. Don't know if anyone else mentioned, but I think Stellaris music could perhaps benefit from reducing 10 to 20%. It's very conflicting with your mic when it peaks. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I can go ahead and modify that. Thank you for the suggestion, Professor Plunge. Like, I don't know what to do for the people if we can't keep leaping forward. Like, it's my job to make sure that these projects to get into interstellar travel, like, we need to get there, but we're currently, look how far behind we are. We have no starbase, something that I want. Just the other day I was just talking about this. There's no mandate, there's no memo, nothing. There are no reports, no findings, or well, no reports or directives from the president nor the governor, anything having to do with star bases or anything space related. Everything is just all Earth, Earth, Earth. Let's just, I gotta check out more of my, in all honesty, I need to make sure that I have my executive orders in line here. The draft for internal review, not what I'm looking for. Review the attached executive order. What is this? No. Yo, C22. Allows short-term labor reassignment to critical economic sectors during stability recovery periods. Management. Economy. Well, let's check this out. And so, well, it's not that bad. Like I said, they actually make the pamphlets way easier to read than all the technical data that is attached. So, For some reason, I was just reminded of that Casino movie song. You know the movie Casino? And the drums start going. You hear the trumpet going off. What just happened here? That's not what's supposed to happen. So I have to organize so many of these into where they're supposed. These are being created. These are generated faster than I can sort. So. Take a look. This is what I have to read over. Personnel, agriculture and food distribution networks, essential municipal services in high-density districts. While Earth's overall stability has risen to 70%, the ongoing energy credit deficit continues to limit operational capacity. Temporary workforce mobilization is required to prevent bottlenecks, maintain momentum, and ensure continuity of essential services. Yeah, so how do you plan on doing that? Are you telling me to reassign here? Forced labor explicitly prohibits forced labor, permanent reassignment without consent, wage suppression, punitive measures for declining reassignment. All mobilization actions must comply with the Planetary Labor Charter. With reassessment of labor shortages, gradual return of workers to original sectors, compilation of a post-mobilization impact review. It stands at a pivotal moment in its recovery. The progress made in recent days, industrial activation, scientific reawakening, and rising public stability must be protected and reinforced. This mobilization protocol ensures that our most essential sectors remain strong, resilient, and capable of supporting the world as it regains its footing. This is a temporary measure, but a necessary one. It reflects our shared commitment to rebuilding Earth with discipline, unity, and purpose. Short-term labor reassignment. Main labor needs through the Central Mobilization Registry to prevent duplication, oversignment, or regional imbalance. In the event of sudden infrastructure failure, Yeah, no, I know. More technicians. There aren't enough workers. There are too many specialists. I wonder if that's a growing trend because of AI. Oh. So, starting on today, 5th, January, year 2200. Amazing, yeah? Technician. Technician position is going to be filled more often. More labor, more to help with the deficit. Also to read, ISD, low-level criminal network mapping. Ooh, let's get that one open. Remember, this is restricted information. You guys are allowed to read it because I am the supreme executive authority. Now, ISD Criminal Analysis Division, distribution, me, Governor's Office, so on and so forth. Executive summary. Earth's planetary crime rating remains at 4%, consistent with a low crime, high stability environment. Despite this, ISD maintains continuous monitoring of low-level, decentralized criminal networks that persist in dense urban districts and economically strained zones. These networks are non-hierarchical, opportunistic, and fluid, lacking the structure of pre-unification organized crime. Their activity is limited but relevant for maintaining long-term stability. No indicators of coordinated or large-scale criminal resurgence were detected during the 24-hour cycle. Network overview. ISD identifies 3 primary low-level criminal clusters currently active. Micro-theft collectives. Primary activities. What is this? Mainly operate in transit hubs, market corridors, and high-density pedestrian zones. As a 2026 parallel comment, reminds me of the rail. Quite a few possibilities, especially with the strain of there being no restrooms. Structure is no leadership, so nothing to target. Low threat level. Informal goods diversion rings? What is that? Found near distribution centers, loading docks, slum adjacent commercial zones. Ugh. Primary activities: diverting small quantities of consumer goods, reselling through informal street markets, exploiting gaps in supply chain oversight. Structure: semi-stable crews of 48 individuals, one coordinator per ring. Low moderate economic nuisance. Doesn't touch energy credits, and I can't imagine it does anything to the minerals, so I'm leaving that up to the precincts. Slum zone, micro gangs, localized to the sprawling slums, planetary bulk. Territory-based petty extortion, control of informal housing clusters, and mediation of disputes in the absence of formal governance. Moderate localized social impact. It's unfortunate that we don't really know. From my view, I have to request that information specifically in order to see where, who, what, when, where, why. If I want all of that specific, detailed information, it has to be requested. Otherwise, all I'm doing is just staring at these big numbers here, and I guess that's what is supposed to be important to me. 4% is meager, for example. I'm just thinking maybe 0%. Maybe that's too low, yeah. 0% crime, that's too low population. So Tyrus 9, laugh out loud. I appreciate the greeting and welcome. I have friends who have connection to Greece, and that's really cool that you're from Greece. I'm born and raised Kailua, Hawaii. For those of you who may not have known where I'm from. Anyway, 17 minor incidents attributable to low-level networks, 9 petty thefts, 5 diverted goods cases, 3 sums of Sorry. That was rude. Anyways, analysis indicates vendors next. Everyone knows all of this type of information. Slums have limited law enforcement presence. stable or declining low-level criminal activity. Crime's kind of boring. Urban Air Quality Index. Yeah, moving on. Urban Air Quality Index, AQI, stable across major cities. Slight improvement in Toronto and Osaka due to favorable winds. Wildlife migration tracking. Arctic tern migration patterns show early directional shifts, possibly climate related, requires follow-up. Oh, it's a good thing I check. Follow-up report expands on the blah blah blah. Tracking data indicates migration path adjustments in the following groups: Arctic tern, Sterna paradisea, slight eastward drift of 2.1% along mid-latitude leg, no change in altitude or flock cohesion. Northern shearwater puffinus gravis. Is this stuff legit? Does this even exist? What even is this? What even is going on? Wow. Okay, check this out. This is what it's talking about here. These are the Arctic tern. Sterna paradisea. Northern shearwater. Delay of approximately 4 hours in expected transit over North Atlantic corridor. Possibly linked to atmospheric pressure variations. Back whale pods, Megaptera novae. Pacific salmon. Okay, why do I have to review this? All telemetry sources passed integrity checks. Satellite tagged avian trackers 99.7% signal fidelity. Vigilance through next migration. Yeah. Well. Oh, that is insane. I'm not reading all this. (11:47:55) UTC, latitude 48.2210, longitude -32.9912, altitude 842 meters, HDG 102 degrees, speed 12.4 miles per second, and it's just lists and lists and lists. Yeah, I don't see any major problems. Okay, reviewed. Next. Reviewed the birds thing, whatever. System check for and one remaining thing to consider. The brawl. Let's advance to the 7th of January. Just be prepared for the time leap running parallel with us. Ready? Three, two, one. Wait. Leaping to January 7th, 2200 in 3, 2, 1. Oops, we went over a day. We're just not good at meeting the mark. We went right over to the midnight, probably, I hope. Look at all these events. Supposed events. I bet you these are nothing. They're all just nothing events. Maybe. Does anyone feel different? Here we are with some updates. Industrial teams report steady progress despite energy constraints. Transit hubs see reduced congestion after algorithm update. Slums aid groups request additional supplies. Scientists note minor atmospheric variations over the North Atlantic. Subsurface acoustic scans, orbital debris tracking, LEO Pass 6, wildlife migration micro update, solar output monitoring, Helios array. Energy allocation debate, industrial activation oversight, slum district humanitarian review. Energy director warns of continued credit deficit. Yeah, just more of the same. Almost ready to leap an entire month just to see where we end up. It would be a bad idea to set the government on autopilot. An executive autopilot, but I can do that. Director of memos. Mesh network chatter review. Microseismic tremor. So these are anomaly reports. Microseismic tremor at Icelandic shelf and unusual cloud spiral in the Central Pacific. Any signal anomalies? Too important. Military defense grid status check. Global threat assessment is low. Unauthorized signal scan, no hits. Airspace integrity report. There's like nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing going on. Meaning I have all these sit reps that are being given to me and there's nothing. Intelligence briefs, they're all telling me nothing. Nothing interesting.
Trying to do something.
Well, what else is there to do? What? Did you just electrocute me? Why did you do that? I better go back to being like this. Oh. Did you like my southern act?
No,
Why not?
no,
Doesn't sound like me.
no, it doesn't sound like you. It doesn't sound too. It sounds not contrived.
Characterized?
Character.
Characterized or caricaturized, right? Caricatured. Sure, tell me. Sure. Fish and chips. Would you like some fish and chips, Mike? Defense Directorate memos. Drone wing fuel efficiency. Dude. Like, drone wing fuel efficiency report. We're using drones for things. Are we doing that right now? Drones? I'll see you after. You're getting hungry, you said? What do you want? Probably because you ate fast food. Fast food's pretty good, huh? Flavorful. Yep. There's chicken. Would you like chicken? Anti-aerospace radar sweep. Personnel morale snapshot. Emergency response drill planning. DDoPS. God. Okay. Orbital debris tracking routine. Unauthorized launch detection, none. Maritime defense grid status. Yeah, I'd open up that and then it would say, everything is reported to be clear. The skies are clear. Everyone is doing great. We are still running the same routines. We have no changes at all. Thank you. Thank you for that. ACN, all across the board. All across the board. Yeah, I predicted this. Predictive threat modeling, no escalation. Slum zone weapon flow analysis, no. Warning defense grid stat. Okay. I guess I'm just used to 2026 Earth being so interesting, you know? Being a narcissist fest. Hey everyone, look at us. Look at us, planet Earth. Look how narcissistic we are. We're amazing. Strategic Operations Division, STROPS, Executive Summary. Earth's global threat posture remains at green low, indicating no credible military, orbital, cyber, or internal destabilization threats detected during the current 24-hour cycle. All defense systems, orbital, atmospheric, maritime, and ground-based, report nominal performance with no anomalies requiring escalation. Orbital defense status. Orbital sensor array has full coverage maintained. No unauthorized launches detected. No foreign military satellites exhibiting abnormal behavior. Debris field density stable. No collision risks. Defense platforms, all platforms are online. Power draw stable despite planetary energy deficit. No emergency batteries cycling required. Space integrity. Just check. All encryption layers stable and cyber and communications security different from the first day. Everything just needed kind of a reset. Foreign military posture review. ISD reports no extremist chatter, no organized paramilitary activity. Let's go about. Filed by Commander R. Halden, Defense Grid Ops. Planetary Defense Grid reports full operational readiness at the start of the 8th of January 2200 cycle. All orbital, atmospheric, and ground-based systems are functioning within functioning within nominal parameters. No alerts, no escalations, no system degradation. Threat level is green low. Same information. It looks exactly. This report looks exactly like the last one. Oh, I'm not reading that. Well, let's check this actually. This might be good for us to know. Orbital Sensor Array. OSA, Full Health Assessment. Filed by Lieutenant Commander A. Valand, Orbital Systems Division. Check. No system faults, no calibration drift outside tolerance, and no signal contamination detected across any frequency band. OSA remains fully operational and continues to provide 100% orbital coverage with uninterrupted telemetry. OSA 1, Equatorial East, online, nominal. West, online, nominal. Polar North and South, online, nominal. High Orbit Relay and Deep Space Horizon, online, nominal. No nodes required reboot or manual recalibration. No error flags. Okay, I'm gonna make quest system here. Energy deficit impact reports, slum zone security and redevelopment items, scientific environmental anomaly logs. I want to know what's going on with the drones, actually. I'm doing... It's supposed to... What the hell? Yeah, so before we can, let me re-update you on all of this. This is all the documentation for my job as the Supreme Executive Authority for the UNE, which is basically everything you see here, right in front of you. Planet Earth. Okay? So, I gotta make sure I check all this stuff before we move on. I could skip ahead a month from now and then have all this documentation catch up to me. And then, I don't know, I could be screwed based on the decision that I make doing that. Okay? I don't feel like skipping ahead a whole entire month just because the information that I'm receiving is going to be boring. That's like the president going on a golf trip for a month. Okay? Paperwork that can wait. It's a lot of time. Let's read some. I want to go back into the archives here. Wars. Riverlight Front. Region former Cascadia Autonomous Zone Northwest Sector. Let's take a look at where that is. Where is that? Cascadia. Autonomy as a movement. All there. That's interesting. Take a look at this. Insurgency class, Class B, regional, semi-organized. Riverlight Front was a mid-century regional insurgency active during the fragmentation era. They emerged from a coalition of resource scarcity militias, anti-centralization activists, as well as displaced agricultural communities. The group operated primarily along river corridors and hydroelectric infrastructure, targeting energy distribution nodes and supply convoys. The insurgency never achieved territorial control, but maintained persistent operational capability for nearly 3 years. Neutralized in 2051 following coordinated multi-agency operation. Formed in response to severe drought cycles, water rights disputes, collapse of regional governance, and hydroelectric rationing policies. Really? Initial membership. 100 to 150 individuals. So, former agricultural workers, local militia remnants, displaced families, and several ex-security contractors, non-military. Marshall Gray, these are all aliases, I guess. Marshall Gray, Lark, Stonewater Cell, and North Bend Circle. Marshall Gray was the strategic coordinator. Decentralized, coordinated through encrypted short-range mesh devices. Primary motivations were opposition to centralized water management, restoration of local autonomy, resistance to perceived resource seizure, protection of river communities. Their operational goals were disrupt hydroelectric distribution, operational goals also disrupt hydroelectric distribution, force renegotiation of water rights, establish autonomous river corridors, pressure regional authorities into concessions. The group did not pursue national or global political aims. There were 14 confirmed attacks on hydroelectric substations, 6 convoy interdictions, 3 attempted dam control intrusions, and 1 successful temporary shutdown of a distribution node. But more happened than that, probably. Territorial presence. The group never held territory but maintained hidden riverbank camps, mobile supply caches, rotating safe houses in abandoned rural zones. Civilian impact. No deliberate civilian targeting, 7 accidental injuries during infrastructure attacks, and 1 fatality. Structural collapse during sabotage. Drone surveillance right there. Phase 1 containment. Targeted arrests. Phase 2 and Phase 3. Coordinated operation between regional security forces, National Infrastructure Guard, Civilian Water Authority, and local community councils. Lark was captured and dissolution of Stonewater Cell. Marshall Gray was never confirmed deceased, disappeared. Post-event assessment, threat level moderate, regional only. Strategic impact, accelerated modernization of water management systems. So on and so forth. The case was declassified due to dissolution of all related groups, relevance to modern governance, historical value for insurgency pattern analysis, and absence of surviving members posing security risk. No classified technologies or methods remain in the file. That's the end of that case file. So thank you, was it Lieutenant Commander? Original classification was secret. I want to read more about these classified insurgencies. This one's status fully resolved. The Iron Hollow movement. Former Great Basin Autonomous Corridor Central Continental Zone. It's a Great Basin. That's what it says there. 3.9 out of 5 stars for anyone interested. Is that what they're referring to? It's a Great Basin National Park, right? Nevada area. So just leave that there. You guys look at. While I fill you in on details here. Urgency class, Class C. Urban Industrial Gorilla. Executive summary. The Iron Hollow movement, IHM, was a late-stage insurgency emerging during the final decades before planetary unification. It operated in the industrial wastelands and abandoned mining corridors of the Great Basin region, exploiting collapsing industrial infrastructure, mass unemployment, autonomous drone layoffs, and regional anti-centralization sentiment. The group specialized in industrial sabotage, drone hijacking, and supply line disruption. IHM never achieved territorial control but maintained a persistent urban guerrilla presence for nearly 5 years. The insurgency was dismantled in 2126 through a combination of infiltration, economic stabilization, and targeted arrests. Founding conditions. The movement arose from shutdown of the Iron Hollow mining complex, displacement of approximately 40,000 workers, collapse of regional governance, influx of unregulated autonomous mining drones, and severe economic contraction. Unregulated? Autonomous mining drones? Both autonomous and unregulated. Leadership was semi-centralized with operational autonomy granted to each cell. Opposition to autonomous labor displacement, demand for restoration of human-operated industry, resistance to central economic restructuring, protection of displaced worker communities. Wow. 22 confirmed attacks on autonomous mining facilities. 11 drone control tower intrusions, 4 successful drone hijackings, and 1 large-scale conveyor line collapse. Major economic impact. Drone surveillance. Good thing we have drones, right? Red Line crew members, that's what they were called. That's interesting. Let's look at let's look at one of those. Red Hinterlands Rebellion. Or was this? Former Central Steppe Federation. Mid-continental belt. RHR controlled approximately 38,000 square kilometers of sparsely populated steppe, including agricultural zones, abandoned military deposits, key transit choke points, several small towns. Same thing. Nothing really changes, huh? Insurgencies just keep getting squashed one after the next. It's really too bad, though. It just goes to show, you know, that when the government makes errors, there are people who really take that to heart. That's why I don't want to just skip a month ahead, because then, oh yeah, what happened? Oh, Alex, I don't know. I'll have to call you back. Tried to capture a regional capital. What was the purpose of all this? Restoration of a sovereign steppe nation, rejection of external governance, control of agricultural output, and preservation of frontier autonomy traditions. Operational goals were seize and hold territory, control food production and distribution, establishing a self-sufficient breakaway state, and enforce recognition through military leverage. They framed themselves as a return to ancestral independence. Well, So for momentum, clarity, and forward movement's sake, can advance about a month. And that is what I'm going to do now. It seems like everything is already underway. Leaping us ahead to the 1st of February in 3, 2, 1. Prepare yourselves. 3, 2, 1. February 1st. Inexplicable event. As though telling me, wait, slow down, wait. Well, everything looks the same to me. From bird's eye view, everything's the same. Who cares? Oh, well, consumer goods hasn't been fixed yet. It isn't going to be fixed for a while. Oh, man. Jobs, populations, not enough. Need more jobs. requests for those for a while. First things first. Let's check today's. Industrial activation enters mid-cycle phase. Scientists track subtle atmospheric. Yeah. The North Atlantic always has subtle atmospheric variance, all kinds of things. Stability plateau review, material throughput adjustment, consumer goods impact. Now let's read about that. Consumer goods 88 units triggered a level 1 material adjustment across motorcycle industrial sectors. This is a soft constraint, not a blocker, but it requires some calibration of distribution priorities to prevent downstream shortages. No immediate shutdowns or production halts are expected. Like manufacturing throughput reduced by 3 to 5%. Non-essential fabrication queues delayed by 4 to 6 hours. Priority rerouted. The household goods, maintenance components, and industrial activation support materials. Line congestion in 2 hubs, distribution centers. Automated routing algorithms adjusted to prioritize essential goods, repair parts, energy grid support materials. Preventative maintenance extended by 12 to 18 hours. Emergency maintenance unaffected. No risk to critical infrastructure. There's going to be increased strain on maintenance cycles. Potential slowdown in industrial activation. Risk of minor public sentiment dip 1 to 2%. Strong people. Global Markets Desk, New Geneva. EU sector. The global consumer goods market tightened overnight as inventories fell to 88 units. A modest but symbolically significant decline has triggered cautious reactions across industrial hubs from Neo-Tokyo to the Cascadia Arc. According to early cycle data released by the Infrastructure Directorate, the drop represents a 4.3% week-over-week decrease, the sharpest single-week contraction since mid-2199. While officials insist the situation is manageable, analysts warn that the decline could signal deeper structural pressures. The bustling Shinjuku commercial spine, shopkeeper Aiko Tanemura, 42, says she noticed a slight but noticeable slowdown in restocking cycles. Last month, shelves were refilled every 36 hours. Now it's closer to 48, Tanemura said. It's not a crisis, but customers are asking questions. I would ask too. You know, a lot of people who shop, they have a lot of favorite items. It's tough to remember that, you know. How many times certain regulars, you know, they buy the same thing over and over again. How many times? You know, now 36 hours to 48. I feel for the people. Cascadia Arc, Western Hemisphere sector, region historically sensitive to supply fluctuations. Consumer Goods Index fall 5.1%, steepest regional decline. Dr. Samuel Rourke, senior economist at the Pacific Systems Institute, attributes the drop to a combination of industrial activation strain and distribution bottlenecks. The system is stable, but the margin is thin, Rourke said. If the index falls below 85, you'll see real pressure on maintenance cycles. Local transit hubs reported minor congestion, with 2 distribution centers operating at 92% throughput efficiency, down from the usual 98%. 92%. In contrast, New Alexandria's markets remained resilient. The city's consumer confidence survey showed only a 0.7% decline, the smallest among major population centers. Urban planner Leila Mbeki, 33, credits the region's highly optimized distribution mesh. When goods tighten, we feel it before anyone else, Ortiz said. People are watching the numbers closely. Residents in the slum districts of the Atlantic Corridor. Sentiment was anxious. 61% of citizens not concerned. 27% mildly concerned. 12% expecting further decline. Wow, so much for woke people, huh? They have no frickin' idea that in about 10 months from now, consumer goods is going to go down to zero if we don't get that project up and running, or if we don't get some kind of magical worker situation going on here. The Governor's Office is expected to release a full economic outlook later today. Outlook: mild pressure, no crisis yet. Economists agree that the next 7 to 10 days will determine whether the decline stabilizes or accelerates. Economists can't figure it out either, huh? I have it figured out. I can assure you, we're losing consumer goods. If consumer goods fall below 80, analysts warn of rising maintenance backlogs, increased distribution delays, a potential 1 to 2% dip in public stability, early cycle strain on industrial activation. For now, markets remain calm but alert. Yeah, it's funny that how like people really just mid management, low management, even upper management, like they don't know a god dang thing. They don't know anything. Monthly gain minus 11.42. I didn't make that change. Who's causing this? Who's causing the shortage here? Got too many physicists? What's going on? Probably make a proposal first. Thinking about dropping engineers, biologists, and physicists jobs down to 150. Researchers as well. What do they need that much for? Isn't them. It's just high upkeep for a researcher, I guess. Researchers employing scientific methodology to advance the rapidly expanding knowledge base of this civilization. Yeah, well, there might not be a civilization if you guys don't tone it down over there. Not seeing much hope in terms of anything else there. Here, let's generate a proposal here. that's the uptick in people interested in automation. That'll be the perfect timing for the bureaucrats upstairs. Want to implement some of that. So this will be the last thing probably that I do we're just gonna keep things steady up to February. 1st of February. Doesn't feel good to fast forward into a freaking impasse, you know. Okay. Urgent review requested. Sent out to council members, office of the president. Yeah. Sudden reduction. STEM job openings, engineers, biologists, physicists, and researchers. Minus 37.5%. Engineers, biologists, and physicists, as well as minus 33.3% researchers, all fields. Will not be accompanied by replacement jobs, temporary assignments, or transitional programs. Reduction would be immediate, cross-sectoral, and global. Projects are going to slow down. Infrastructure projects may experience, so engineering sector, infrastructure projects may experience delays of 8 to 12% due to reduced personnel. Industrial activation cycles risk slowing by 5 to 7%. Maintenance backlogs projected to rise by 12 to 18% within 30 days. Biological sciences, medical research throughput expected to decline by 10 to 14%. I just want to say, I feel like maybe I am micromanaging a little bit too much. That maybe if I just leave things on autopilot for a while. But then again, I mean, I just saw the great number drop. You know, the great number of our supplies, Earth supplies, just dropped, and there's no sign of things getting better without proactive solution seeking. Anyways, environmental monitoring capacity reduced by 22%. Agricultural biotech support weakened, risking 2 to 3% yield instability. Physical sciences, orbital physics, material science, and energy grid modeling face critical staffing shortages. Long-term research timelines may extend by 6 to 9 months. That's normal. It's like old Earth. Research sector. general. Loss of 200 million research positions will reduce global research output by 28 to 32%, slow innovation cycles, weaken predictive modeling systems, and reduce anomaly response capacity. Economic and social stability forecast, short-term 0 to 30 days, no immediate collapse. Measurable slowdown in scientific throughput. Public sentiment may dip 1 to 2% among educated sectors. Universities and research hubs will experience overcrowding and funding strain. Medium term, 30 to 180 days. Risk of brain drain migration toward remaining high-value positions. Increased competition may destabilize academic and industrial pipelines. Potential rise in underemployment among high-skill populations. Long-term 180 plus days. Innovation stagnation, reduced scientific resilience, slower industrial growth, increased dependency on automation without human oversight. That's what I called out. Strategic concerns. Loss of scientific redundancy, fewer researchers means fewer parallel projects, reducing resilience. Increased vulnerability to anomalies, environmental, orbital, and biological anomalies may go under-monitored. Industrial activation risk, engineering. So, maybe this should be for a time. Maybe for the next, maybe it should be like a 6-month. Enacted for 6 months on the dot, right? So August 1st will be when jobs are given back. I was laid off for 6 months. That's crazy, especially during a deficit. Public stability. High skill unemployment historically correlates with 2 to 4% stability erosion if unaddressed. Recommendations actionable. Immediate stabilization measures. Freeze further STEM job reductions for 60 days, 2 months. Redirect surplus personnel into maintenance backlogs, environmental monitoring, industrial activation support, scientific data processing. So kind of like drafting them over to contractors if they're interested in working construction. Temporary research fellowships. Create short-term, low-cost fellowships to absorb displaced researchers for 90 to 120 days. Cross-directorate task force. Establish a joint task force between infrastructure, research, social well-being, energy, education. Purpose: reallocate scientific labor without creating new job classes. Public messaging strategy. Issue a controlled statement emphasizing stability, temporary nature of reductions, ongoing government oversight. Avoid triggering panic among scientific communities. Long-term workforce rebalancing. Develop a 6-month plan to restore 20 to 30% of lost positions, integrate displaced workers into emerging sectors, prevent long-term stagnation. I think that's exactly what I was just saying. The contraction from 840 million total STEM openings to 550 million represents a historic reduction. While not immediately catastrophic, it poses medium-term risks to innovation, industrial activation, and public stability. A coordinated response is required to prevent systemic degradation. Council feedback within the amount of time given. 7 of 9 council members so far expressed concern over long-term innovation slowdown. They probably already knew I was going to be doing this. executive directive provisional from all of them. Proceed with stabilization measures and prepare a public-facing statement. Maintain scientific continuity and prevent workforce destabilization. Directive logged and acknowledged. That's the President's office requests a follow-up briefing before moving on to February 2nd. I don't know. I don't want to announce anything. I just want for there to be like, use the media. The media say. People are beginning to strike. Major layoffs. Look forward to more time at home. Remote jobs available. You know, I mean, just until consumer goods returns to normal, market stabilizes, and then I mean, we could give them like a hopeful outlook at about the 3-month mark. That's what I think. I said 2 months. You know, it was recommended to be 2 months, but I think the 3-month mark might be a little bit more realistic. Do we have one of these? Alright, there are 4 major historical STEM workforce recovery plans. Post-automation, shock recovery plan, scientific continuity stabilization program, global research rebalancing initiative, and STEM redundancy and resilience framework. Measures from WRP, post-automation shock recovery plan. What was the event? Autonomous industrial systems replaced approximately 40% of engineering and physical science roles within 18 months. Key measures: 18-month retraining pipeline for displaced engineers, temporary absorption into infrastructure maintenance, creation of human oversight units for automated systems, emergency research fellowships for physicists and material scientists, regional stabilization grants for collapsing industrial towns. Outcome: workforce stabilized within 22 months, 31% of displaced workers reintegrated, 12% transitioned to new sectors. Innovation slowdown lasted 3 years. 3 years! CSP, collapse of several megacities. So the trigger event here, collapse of several megacities research hubs after the 2,153 data grid failure. Key measures: rapid redeployment of researchers to unaffected regions, emergency funding for biological and atmospheric sciences, creation of continuity pods, mobile research clusters, mandatory cross-training for early career scientists, stabilization stipends for displaced research teams. The outcome was research output restored to 92% within 14 months. Continuity pods became permanent infrastructure and data grid. Redundancy protocols established. just read the rest of these, I guess, if you're all interested. Alright, Professor Plunge 7705, thank you for having stayed with us for this amount of time here. Yeah, actually, same here. I'm about to have to wrap up and try to move on to something else that I gotta work on, and then yeah, I shall return to filling out more executive orders tomorrow and reading over all this information. It's way faster for me to just read the information myself, but here I am sacrificing my time. That's my partial connection with the people there. Gotta have self-love, self-esteem. Where is it all going? I don't know. 22% drop in STEM hiring across all sectors. A triggered event, global recession. STEM redundancy and resilience framework. Key measures, creation of redundancy pools, reserve scientists paid to remain active, mandatory dual discipline certification for new graduates, expansion of predictive modeling teams, temporary absorption of researchers into anomaly monitoring programs, cross-directorate labor sharing agreements. The outcome prevented long-term innovation collapse. Workforce fully restored by 2196. Redundancy pools became a permanent fixture of planetary governance. So, these 4 plans represent the canonical historical playbook for STEM workforce stabilization. Handled automation shock, research infrastructure collapse, field imbalance, and economic contraction. Current situation, a sudden drop in openings with no replacement jobs, most closely resembles 2191 with a sharper decline. The handled economic contraction. So already what happened recently, so basically we were just handed this we were just given this situation, like, here, things might get better. I don't know. Leaves with bags of money. MySpace. Anyone remember MySpace? Who was the creator of Zynga? I'm getting off topic here. John Heiler and Dan Ginsberg. Federal Trade Commission fined Zynga $1 million. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff about Zynga. Zynga. Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for having been here for this session of handling economic matters, especially today, governance overall. I need to rest my mind for a while, and I hope all of you rest your minds as well. I hope this has been informative and helps all of you in your job positions make the decisions that you need to make for your jobs, your future careers, so on and so forth. I hope that this has been educational, and I shall return another day, most likely tomorrow. time currently unknown, since tomorrow is a Sunday. However, it is probable 90% to 95% that I'll be back before 4 o'clock p.m. and even before 12 o'clock p.m. So possibly peak hours here, sure. Sorry, I'm just so concentrated on this. Okay. Yep. So all of you take care, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe,